All right, we're going to go over the kits for 3 different characters, Ironheart, Toad, and Blob. And the short of it is that Ironheart is crazy, going to directly replace Vision, going to make power armor dominant in war, offensive, and we've got some footage of them versus Asgardians. We also have the kit for Toad, which looks like he's going to give Blob a taunt out of the get-go, be assisting, extending negative effects, and Blob is just going to be taunting constantly and counterattacking, as you would expect. Ridiculously slow, high HP. He will taunt whenever Brotherhood ally goes below 50% health, kind of like shield security. Now, before we go over the kits for these two, I want to go to Reddit because there's a funny post, but basically Asgardians are going to be farmable. And the reason why that's important is that first of all, Hela is amazing. Top 10 character easily. On defense in war, they're crazy. But also, the 5 of them are required to unlock Black Bolt, which is my personal favorite character in the game right now. Probably right behind Phoenix and Ultron. Loki around you, Foxnet. It's Sif about time you told us when Hela Asgardians will be farmable. Thor outs! I'm Del upset. And then look at the comment and response from the community manager, Cerebo. In Loki at Thor blog from February 1st. And minimum, we are releasing a new character on the first Wednesday of every month. Sif not more. In March, I can tell you now that it'll be an Asgardian character. We won't regret on this. And this is really funny. I just think this is hysterical. Okay, let's look at the Ironheart kit. And then we will look at some footage going up against Asgardians. And then we will also look at Blob and Toad. First things first, her basic attack has synergy with Iron Man. Seems to be very useful. Basically, anytime she does a basic attack, she'll gain an assist from Iron Man. Fine. Now, her military ability does remind me a little bit of Vision. And this is what she's going to do turn 1. Attack primary target Jason for damage, change speed bar, and give ability block to the primary target. Basically, same thing as Vision, if you will. Now, this is where it gets interesting right here. Attack all enemies for 260% damage. Apply defense down for 2 turns. In war, this has 100,000 extra focus. So this is going to go off right after rescue gives the entire team offense up, defense down, and this will stick. Wow. Defense down. Now, so this is also going to be replacing Vision, which would normally do AoE, take away 2 effects. But I think having defense down and a guaranteed defense down is going to be in a more effective a strategy in conjunction with her passive abilities, which we're going to look at right here, because her passive abilities are good. On spawn, apply defense up to self and all power armor allies for 2 turns. She's basically just a better version of Vision for the power armor team. It's just that simple. So she's going to give defense up for 2 turns, and then 40% resist and 40% resist to the tech allies, max health to everybody, and max more armor. This is pretty straightforward right here. She's just a direct replacement for Vision, going to make power armor stronger on offense in war. And here are the rest of the stats. Now, we've already seen Toad's kits, so we'll go over Blob first, very fast, 116. And Blob, oh my goodness, Blob. I can't even imagine what this is going to be like with 2 tanks doing all kinds of crazy things. There's a part in his passive I don't really understand. And the footage that I have doesn't show like the effects coming. It has like the UI stripped. So it's a little bit confusing to me. Primary target for damage, apply slow. If they have disrupted, she can also remove the target speed bar. Now he counterattacks all the time, so I'm not sure if that works on counterattacks, because counterattacks is sister difference. Now, copy all positive effects on Brotherhood allies to this character, and think about Juggernaut. Juggernaut will have all the buffs on him, and so he's going to get all of those buffs. Attack primary target for damage, and then adjacent targets. Now, they're all going to be sucked together because of Magneto, so this is most likely going to be an AoE. That's not going to be his first turn, and I got to he's like really, really slow. But turn 1, he's going to attack primary and all adjacent targets for 460% damage. Again, that's pretty much going to be an AoE because Magneto is going to have brought the whole team together. Now, this is why the kit works. and why it is good is going to use passive. We're going to have to read this carefully because it's a little bit confusing, frankly. But I can only imagine what it's like to have 2 tanks on this team. On spawn, gain offense up for 2 turns, fine. When a Brotherhood ally drops below 50% health, gain taunt, so that's going to work like shield security. That's very effective, as you know. On enemy turn, apply deflect up to a maximum of 3 to adjacent allies. I don't know how that's going to work. Does that mean that they're just going to have 3 deflect on them always? I have to see how this works. Gain 50% resistance. Brotherhood allies gain 50% resistance. And then he's going to have basically nearly 100% counterattack when he comes out. So the other thing, too, is Toad. And we're going to look at some footage. Toad's going to go first. And then he's going to put the taunt on Blob. So we're going to have basically a turn 1 taunter, kind of like Drax. Monstrous HP, as you can see there. And then we're going to take a look at his speed, which is 80. Ridiculously slow. So let's just relook at Toad's stats here before we look at a battle versus Shield. And he's going to get lots of assists. And there's some variants here to the kit, so we do want to pay attention to this. He's going to go first, and he's very interesting. And plus, there's a lot of some team-up animations. So, attack primary target, apply offense down for 1 turn, and slow for 2 turns. That's fine. Acid spray, which is going to come not right away, but later. Attack primary and all adjacent targets for damage. Each target has all negative effects prolonged by a duration of 1. So probably by then there's going to be tons of bleeds and probably even disrupted out there by the time that comes around. But tons of bleeds from Pyro for sure. Then Leapfrog, which is going to go off right away. And this is going to go off even before Magneto goes. Apply taunt and defense up to Blob. And he's going to get bunches of turn meter because of his passive ability, which we'll go over here in a moment. Attack primary target for 240% damage. Clear 2 positive effects. Chain. Fantastic. Clear 2 positive on each target. Counterattack breaks this team. If Blob's an ally, attack primary second targets. Damage instead. Cannot be dodged or counterattacked. And then his passive ability suggests that he's going to be going first, even before Magneto. And Magneto is first because he has this preloaded turn meter. Gain 25% dodge chance on spawn. Get this speed bar for each Brotherhood ally. So pretty much he's going to go first. And that's going to allow him to put the taunt on Blob. And then he has this opportunity to assist all the time. 50% chance to assist on each Brotherhood turn. If any Brotherhood ally is taunting, gain offense up. And then War is just going to give focus to everybody. Focus to everybody. Focus to the rest of the Brotherhood, which is going to be necessary for all of the negative effects to stick. I think that's a lot of fun. Can you imagine what this is going to be like with 2 taunters between Juggernaut and Blob taunting? It's going to be crazy if you ask me. There are all the stats right here, and we can see his speed is 113, which is relatively fast. Now, let's go take a look at a Brotherhood matchup versus Shield, and I don't know what to really make about this footage. I don't know if how it's set up, but I think we can see the animations and we can see how Blob is just going to be there taking tons of damage and constantly counterattacking. Toad goes first even before Magneto, and right now Blob will have a taunt and defense up. Fantastic. Then Magneto's going to go and suck everybody in together, which is going to be fantastic. And then the whole train starts, and then Juggernaut will get the taunt. And every time they attack Blob, he's going to be counterattacking. And there's actually very little trouble here in them defeating Shield. And even though Coulson has been adding a lot of problems because of his abilities inside of War, and he's a very good defensive War team, there's still a lot of ways around him, and it looks like Brotherhood, based on this footage here, is going to be another counter. Now, I want to go and take a look at this Power Armor versus Asgardian footage, which is interesting to me. Both the clips I have, they lose. But That's what I want. I want like a hard counter to Asgardians right now. Not a 2-shot counter. I mean, there's a lot of 2-shot counters, and there's ways of beating Asgardians for sure. But not necessarily a no-brainer one. Now, in this footage right here, War Machine goes down pretty early, and so it effectively becomes a 4 versus 5, and Hela doesn't go out quickly. So gonna go right here, and she is going to put ability block, and she's also going to be knocking down some turn meter, but she kills the Greg right there, so that is going to be knocking down turn meter. Now, so what's gonna happen here is Rescue is gonna give offense up, and then as soon as Rescue goes and gives the whole team offense up, she'll go, Ironheart will go, and she will give defense down to all the opponents. But because War Machine is missing, it's not really AoE time. Right here, bunches of turn meters coming up, and I think the reason why Power Armor doesn't win right here is because of War Machine going down. Basic attack, instead of doing AoE or massive damage to a single target. But this is where I think it all falls apart, is because of War Machine disappears right here. And when that happens, I don't think there's enough damage to just AoE them all down, because it's effectively a 4 versus 5. So we've got offense up being distributed right now because of Rescue, and then we've got defense down. So the whole team over there has defense down, and then there's a lot of damage going off, but there's just not enough here from Iron Man and Falcon to finish them off. Plus, we've got Thor coming back and creating problems, and he's probably going to do a stun here pretty soon. Okay, AoE right here. And I think that's enough damage right there to take Loki out. But the problem with Loki disappearing is now we're going to have 2 Gregs on the board because of Hela's ability there. All right, we're going to hit everybody again. And this is really... Hela is such a hassle. Now, look at all these Gregs right here. And Gregs galore. And I'm just going to tell you what's going to happen here. Basically, going to be able to pick off Hela and Sif, but there's just going to be so many Gregs, and it's going to be last Greg standing, and Greg is going to win this one. If there was like another AoE or something, I think the match could go down differently, but it's just funny how this turns out. It just makes me laugh. So we're going to take care of Hela here shortly. We get the assist from Iron Man because of... Ironheart's basic attack, always assists from Iron Man. Iron Man's gonna massive damage into Sif, which is not enough to finish her off, surprisingly enough. And this is where it's gonna be a problem, is because these Gregs are going to explode right now. They self-destruct, and when they self-destruct, they put all the bleeds. And so they end up winning because there's 4. Watch this right here. Oh, like Rescue goodbye. Look at that. Rescue goodbye. Look at this. And it's over. Last Greg standing. Boy, Asgardians are fun, right? I'm sure there's probably a way of making this work. Okay. Here's another matchup here. And I watched this once, and I know they lose, but we're going to watch it again here together. Just Asgardians are so good on defense. All right, first thing is going to happen right here is that looks like this time they're putting defense down. Hela's spreading everything right there. Okay, it's hard to tell what's going on with the negative status effects, but Rescue's going right here, giving up some barrier, which they all need to survive. And keep in mind, they do have defense up for 2 turns now. This is going to put ability block and reduce some turn meter right there. And then we're going to have War Machine go. He's going to hit 3 targets. Probably best to avoid the Gregs in that situation right there. We're going to get tons of turn meter right here. So this should fully put all the turn meter on the entire team. And then this is where it's confusing who goes first. And hopefully rescue goes first. And if rescue goes first, that's good. Because right now, the best move probably from Iron Man is to do a basic attack. But if rescue went first, then Iron Man could have done AoE. So we're going to see what happens. Hopefully rescue goes. Now, I think if Ironheart goes first, I think that's still okay to do that because the defense down seems pretty important to have the defense down. So let's see the turn order right here. Okay, rescue goes first. So this is going to give offense up to the whole team. And so now it's free to AoE. Okay, she's going to put the defense down on the whole team. And this is going to start the chain. Specifically, we have 3 AoEs coming up from Falcon, War Machine, and Iron Man. However, Thor is not having that. And that's just what this team does. Asgardians are tricky, and that's going to be a lot of damage. I'm sure they're going to be hurting here soon. Okay, do your thing. Okay, let's see what happens here. Okay, so, of course, Hela survives. The only person to die over there is Loki. So we're going to have 2 Gregs on the board. Oh, my goodness. Massive AoE again here. And now we lose Heimdall. So now we've got 3 Gregs on the board. And this means that probably they're going to be topped off with health as well. And they're definitely punishing to AoE. 3 Gregs. Let's go ahead. Greg for president. Thor is going to do his Thor things. More AoE. Okay. And finally, Hela's gone. And the Greg army is gone. But turn meter advantage. And also, they're topped off on health. Look at, they're just starting to pick them off. And Thor is scary right here. This is scary, believe me. Boom. Boom. Get wrecked. Don't you know you're messing with Thor? And they're going to lose. Thor can handle this, believe me. Although I think War Machine's pretty good. We're going to have to test these teams. I'm pretty excited about both of them. I hope that the balance between War and Office stays good. I'm liking that I can get one character and revitalize, like freshen up my power armor. Seems kind of weird that it's basically just the kit seems so similar to Vision that I don't really like. And then now we know what to do with Toad and Blob, and I've been putting in like Kingpin and Crossbones with my Brotherhood, but that'll take it up 5 notches. All right, guys, let me know what you think about these kits, and as always, thanks for watching and keep on gaming.